This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 248. Create Time to Change Your Life by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And I'm your host and narrator, Dr. Neil Malik. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I read to you from popular health and fitness blogs to help you optimize your health. And this week, I'm reading from the personal development side of things, kind of like what you'd hear on Optimal Living Daily. But since stress management and staying positive are so important for our overall health and wellness, these topics overlap nicely with this show. As I mentioned, today's post is from Zen Habits, a regular contributor to our show. But before we get into it, don't forget that we give away books to random people on our mailing list on the first of the month. That's just 3 days away if you can believe it. So, to be in the raffles, just make sure you've joined the email list at oldpodcast.com before then. I'll give you a quick reminder at the end of the show. So for now, let's hear this post from Leo and start optimizing your life. Create Time to Change Your Life by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. When I decided to change my life a little over 5 years ago, I had a very common problem. I didn't have the time. I wanted to exercise and find time for my family and eat healthier instead of the fast food junk I'd been eating, and read more and write more and be more productive and increase my income. Unfortunately, there are only 24 hours in a day, and we sleep for about 8 of them. Subtract the hours we spend eating, showering, and dressing, and fixing up, cleaning, and running errands, driving, working, and you're left with an hour or two at most, often less. Eventually, I figured out how to do all the things I wanted to do. I've achieved all of that and more, and in fact, I have more leisure time now than ever. But first, I had to figure out the fundamental problem. How could I find the time to change my life? I know many of you face the same problem. You've told me as much. So, I thought I'd share some of what I did in the beginning in hopes that it'll help you. The first step. You must make a commitment. You have to decide that you really want to make a change and that it's more important than almost anything else. For me, only my family was more important. And in fact, I was making these changes for my family as well as for myself. So these changes I was making were really my top priority in life. It has to be that urgent for you. Think of this not as improving your life, but saving it. The changes I made saved my life. I'm so much healthier. My marriage is better. My relationships with my kids have improved, and I'm happier rather than depressed. If you don't feel you're saving your life, then you won't make the tough changes needed. Next steps. Once I made the mental commitment, I took small steps to give myself a little wiggle room to breathe and move. 1. Cut out TV. I watched less TV than ever before. Eventually I watched none, though now I watch a few shows a week over the internet. For many people, this one change will free up a couple hours or more. 2. Read less junk. I used to read a lot of things on the internet that were just entertainment. Same with magazines. I cut that stuff out early so I could focus on what was more important. 3. Go out less. I used to go to a lot of movies and do dinner and drinking. I cut that out, mostly, for a while, to make time. 4. Wake earlier. Not everyone is going to do this, but it was a good step for me. I found that I had more time exercising and working in the morning before anyone woke up. The world was quiet and at peace without interruptions. In general, find the things that eat up your time that are less important than the changes you want to make. That's almost everything except the things you need to live, work and eating and stuff like that. Cut back on them where you can. Simplify commitments. I had a lot of commitments in my life. I coached soccer, was on the PTA board, served on a lot of committees at work, had social commitments as well, worked on a number of projects, etc. Slowly, I cut them out. They seemed important, but in truth, none of them was as important as the life I wanted to create, the changes I wanted to make. Lots of things are important, but which are the absolute most important? Make a decision. If you're having trouble making a decision, try an experiment. Cut out a commitment just for a little while. See whether you suffer from cutting it out or whether you like the extra time. If you're worried about offending people, don't. Send an email or make a phone call and explain that you'd love to keep doing the commitment, but you just don't have the time and don't want to have it. The person might try to talk you into staying, but be firm. Respect yourself and your time and the changes you're trying to make. Here's a secret. The people and organizations you've been helping or working with will live. They will go on doing what they were doing without you, and OMG, they will survive without you. Your departure will not cause the world to collapse. Let go of the guilt. Streamline your life. Eventually, I made many other changes, including 1. Making bills and savings and debt payments automatic. I set everything up online so that I wouldn't have to run errands or spend time making payments. This put my debt reduction on automatic, and I got out of debt. 2. Streamlining errands. I tried to cut as many errands out of my life as possible. Often that meant changing my life in some way, but I adjusted and things became simpler. I cleaned as I went, so I didn't have a lot of cleaning to do on weekends. I did the few errands I had all at once to save running around. 3. Work less. I would set limits on how much I could work, forcing myself to pick the important tasks and to get those tasks done on time. I learned which tasks needed to be done and which could be dropped. I became much more effective and worked less. 4. Say no. When people asked me to do stuff that was important to them but not to me, I learned to politely decline. Instead, I focused on what was important to me. Slowly, I learned to simplify. I simplified my daily routines, my work, my social life, my possessions, my chores, my wardrobe. It took time, but it has been more than worth the effort. Life is so much better now that I've created the time to do what I want to do. You just listened to the post titled, Create Time to Change Your Life by Leo Babauta of ZenHabits.net. So I've been totally guilty of some of the things that Leo has mentioned. When I started my new job a couple of years ago, I wanted to impress everyone. I said yes to everything that came my way. You want to be on this committee? Yes. Can you do this project? Yes. Can you help with this? Yes. I thought I could totally handle this. I love my job. This shouldn't be a problem. Well, here's what ended up happening to me. I ended up with shingles. Yes, shingles. Something that usually affects those who are 60 years of age or older. For those of you that don't know what shingles is, if you've had chickenpox, you can get shingles. What happens is basically chickenpox stays within your system for life, which is why you're immune to getting it again. But the problem is it can resurface when you're older as shingles. So the chickenpox is staying in your body, keeps you immune from chickenpox, but then can morph and become shingles when you get older. Why does that happen? It's because your immune system is so weak that the chickenpox becomes reactivated essentially. So what I'm trying to tell you is I was so overstressed without realizing it, my immune system was totally shot and I ended up getting shingles. That was a wake-up call for me, needless to say. So I had to learn the hard way to start saying no, and it was not easy. I had such a difficult time saying no to people. I felt guilty. I felt like I wasn't doing my duty. But Leo was absolutely right. Things will go on without you. Now, I was also feeling as though, and this may happen to you, where if people start to realize I'm not that integral to these processes, well, why am I working here? Couldn't they just fire me? I'd be dispensable. No. It doesn't happen that way. You are important. What you do is important. And I'm not saying rest on your laurels and don't think of ways to be more efficient or helping your company or your organization become better. No. It's just not overextending yourself to the point where you end up like me. Because I can tell you, it's not worth it. And guess what? I am still working there and I'm still very respected. Now, before I go, once again, in just 3 days, we'll be doing another book giveaway. We give away at least one to a random person every month. To be in those raffles, make sure you're on our weekly newsletter at oldpodcast.com. What's great is you'll get some free spreadsheet tools from us right away. Then you'll get weekly emails with updates. You'll be in our raffles automatically. So it's all good stuff. Again, that's all at oldpodcast.com. All right, that's enough from me today. Thank you as always for listening. Thank you for sharing this with a friend. I'll see you in about 24 hours where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this show and Optimal Living Daily, the brother podcast of this one. Literally, I'm Dr. Neil's brother. If you like the format of this show, you'll love Optimal Living Daily too, where I also read to you from blogs, but cover other topics like personal development, finance, and minimalism, from bloggers like Derek Sivers, The Minimalists, Zen Habits, and many more. So for more amazing content read to you for free, come subscribe to Optimal Living Daily too, and together we'll optimize your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Health Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.